Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob Caliban, and I'm Kamehame happy to be here.
And we're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Crisis make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 167, Akumu Hana no Chirasu Toki, Yami no Jo Fukatsu in Japanese. The flower of nightmares scatters. The queen of darkness returns. The English translation. And there will be no English titles for Stars because it wasn't translated into English and subbed until Viz got the rights to do so. The first episode of Stars was streamed on December 14th, 2015.
Yeah, we were way past bad Cloverway titles at that point,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I'm sure now young children and young adults who enjoy anime can watch it and just understand that I'm going to be reading something here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's a great question. Where are the dubs of today year?
Well, they still dub it.
Sure. Like,
Viz did a dub too.
Okay, but like if they're, are they playing on Cartoon Network or something like that? And then is it like...
Probably.
All right. So I wonder if it's, what's the outdated slang they're using now?
Oh, God. That's
in a
a
couple
great
of years,
question.
they'll be like, whoa, Goku, you got a lot of riz. Oh, no cap.
What?
Don't even.
I'm confused.
I don't. Oh, I blew my title for this episode. Yeah, okay. Well, then that's gone then.
Yeah.
We'll have to think of something to maybe replace it, maybe, if we find that we are missing something. Some part of that special juice.
Yeah.
If it ends up being mourned. Speaking of mourning, we're in mourning. The world is in mourning.
Yeah.
And not just the anime community. At the too early death of Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball and its spin-offs, and Dr. Slump. And I say too early, I mean, what's early enough? I'll give him 200 years or so.
Yeah, right.
All right, come on, pull it in, Akira. That's enough. Pencils down. Passed away suddenly at the age of 68 on March 1st. And from what I understand, it's a little weird because they said that he had like a subdural hematoma, which is like a bump on the head.
Okay.
But then he had been seen earlier, reports now say, earlier in the year for brain surgery. He had like a tumor or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I'm not sure how it all comes together, but regardless, it's just a completely unfathomable loss, for the industry, and a guy who, when you look at Miyazaki, speaking of pencils down, although he just won an Oscar.
I know.
You think he'll pencils down finally now that he finally got the
I don't
Oscar?
think he will.
Well, anyway, that guy's still going, so we had years left with Akira Toriyama, but unfortunately not anymore. And it's been interesting to see. I don't really know, like a lot of mangakas, like you just don't know a lot about them.
Yeah.
A lot of them are very sort of personal, and I'm sure if I was Japanese, he'd be more of a celebrity. I just know every single picture I've ever seen, he's got a giant smile.
I was going to say.
I'm sure that he was a really nice guy, although it's hard to find testimonials from anybody that knew him. It's mostly people just saying, what do you say? Like, I grew up with these orange pajama guys, and it's all thanks to this guy.
Yeah.
And no matter what you think about Dragon Ball or what it's become, or the really terrifying thing, what it's going to be in the future now without his guiding hand.
Yeah. Right.
It just touched so many people to the point where, I'm not going to look it up, but some jerk off, the Secretary of State of Japan or something like that was saying like, it's really interesting to show, with his passing and the people's outpouring of support, the kind of soft power Japan has around the world.
Soft power.
It's like, I don't think he was making Goku doesn't vote liberal Democrat. Let's just say that. Right.
Right.
And I mean Japanese liberal democratic, which is ironically neither of those things.
Yeah. Right.
But even assholes can try to they want Goku on their team. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, it's just really sad. And I was thinking the other day about like how he was a guy who, he came from a smaller town somewhere in Mie Prefecture or whatever, in Honshu. Mm-hmm. And he just took what he liked and just made it a thing.
Yeah.
And so he liked well, he loved Osamu Tezuka.
Sure.
Like everybody did. And he liked, Shaw Brothers movies and Jackie Chan movies, Kung Fu movies. There's kind of a debate, but there's not really a debate. He clearly liked Superman, probably in American comics.
Yeah, sure.
All the parallels between Goku and Superman. Goku would win that one, by the way.
Wow.
Well, I like Superman, but look, if you can die and come back and be stronger, I guess. Well, Superman did that once. Goku's done that like 10 times.
Okay.
But just being influenced by that sort of thing. And who influenced who, really? Because if Dragon Ball is based, initially on Journey to the West, Son Goku is a character who was born, he was a little baby, who was born out of a rock.
Right.
Just showed up on the scene.
Uh-huh.
And that was like 2,000 years ago. That was written. So what's up, Siegel and Schuster? What's up? Little baby just shows up from space?
Yeah, there you go.
Interesting. He's got no tail. No tail. Cape, though. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cape, tail, very similar. So, yeah, anyway, insofar as it matters, a podcast dedication, this episode of this show is dedicated to the memory of Akira Toriyama.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah, and so he will be missed.
Yes, he will.
Hands up, spirit bomb for the man.
I was going to say, too, you said that, like, every picture you see of him, he's smiling. I really noticed that this week.
Yeah, you can't find a picture of him.
I mean, so that just warmed your heart. Like, it seems like really nice guy.
Yeah, I don't know if his employees would say the same thing.
Fair.
Like, yeah, he's great. I don't know. But
I don't know either.
But yeah, I just, yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of Dragon Ball, but I think that Akira Toriyama's influence is, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And
well, we've kind of been charting that in a very circuitous path, like Billy and the Family Circus, coming in for dinner, right?
Yeah.
Because we, on Animetification, our Patreon podcast, talk about randomly selected animes throughout the history of anime.
Yes.
Astro Boy, earliest one we did.
I think so.
That's the first one we did.
Yeah.
And one of the first animes. So some of those things are there. That serial storytelling is there. The idea of the Tezuka star system is there, obviously, from the first in Astro Boy. But yeah, like looking at like your Bleaches, your Narutos, even your Sailor Moons. You see the DNA of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yes.
I mean, he didn't invent story. And plus, he didn't do he did the we're not even talking about the manga. We're talking about the anime. This is an anime show. But the way that he influenced the world of manga as well is immeasurable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of art with Goku and Sailor Moon together. Like, they're a couple.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it.
Yeah.
So
that wouldn't last.
You don't think so? They both like food.
I give it a dinner. I give it one meal.
Okay. That'd
be the end of that.
Do you think they would be competitive with each other?
From a culinary perspective? Yes.
Sure. Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. But like otherwise, would they be?
I think he's too muscly for her. I don't think she'd like that. Going off of what I've seen. Her taste?
That's true.
Yeah.
Memoria's a little string bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd let her opinion be known about that. Let's talk about some opinions that our listeners have made known. They've done it by going to Spotify. We have on every episode of our show on Spotify a question for you. The question is, what'd you think of the episode? And you can answer that question on your Spotify app or on your Spotify PC webpage, however you do it on Spotify. We have 3 answers to the question, what'd you think of this episode? Which none of them really answer that question, and that's what we want.
Okay.
That's exactly what we want.
Yeah.
It's fine. It comes from our last episode where we covered the Supers movie. And we have a comment from listener Ribbon who says, Love is a Battlefield is on the Sailor Moon soundtrack of my heart.
Oh, that sounds
great. I was
great.
talking about how one of the songs sounded like a Pat Benatar thing. And I think that'd be a real good. The anime music video, AMV on YouTube. Somebody's probably done it.
Probably.
Maybe not Sailor Moon. Maybe,
Cardcaptor Sakura or something.
Yeah, that terrorist boat anime that's my eternal punching bag. But there is a Love is the Battlefield. It has to be. Thanks for that comment, Ribbon. We have a comment from listener Danny who says, just started the pod and Mika trying to pronounce the katakana and English titles were killing me.
Oh, okay.
Which, if I remember correctly, those are very long. So it's like blah, 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 semicolon, blah, 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 blah. And this has not been answered to my satisfaction.
Okay.
Punctuation in Japan. What do we got?
There are commas
what's the character for a semicolon?
I don't know if there is a character. How does somebody know there's just a pause? Yeah.
New clause.
Great question. I don't know the answer
the clause
to that.
Comes at the end of the pause. No, that's a cat. Sorry. Thanks for that comment, Danny. And a comment from Cincy Raz that says, I wouldn't put the blame of the season on Naoko until you see the way the dream arc was handled in the Eternal movies. I look forward to your reaction in 2030. Yeah, I think the math is right on that. Yeah, you've seen the Eternal movies?
Yes. I have. They're excellent, in my opinion.
Really? Okay, good.
Yeah, they follow the manga really closely. And I think it's way better than the dream arc is in Supers.
It'd be hard to be worse.
It would be hard to be worse.
So it's better?
It's better.
And longer. Everyone's longer.
Well, it's 2 movies.
I meant like taller.
Oh,
probably.
Yes. Sorry. Yes, everybody is longer.
Weird animation. I guess technically that's basically how Naoko kind of does it.
That's what they were basing it off of. But it's just like
everybody's 11 feet tall and willowy.
Yes.
At that.
And it's interesting too because the animation has kind of changed every season for that. And the Eternals is like
that's what you want.
Yeah, I know. But it's gotten better.
That means right. That's my point.
I know.
That means it started off bad.
It was pretty bad.
They're like, no, we can do this better.
Yeah.
No, we can do this better.
Yeah.
We're going to recast everybody in the Avatar show. 15 seconds on the Avatar show. Have you seen the Avatar show?
No, I haven't.
No desire to see the Avatar show?
No desire to see it.
And that's the end of our 15 seconds.
Do you have any desire to see it?
I've seen a lot of videos about it.
Okay.
Which seems stupid. I'm not saying it's not stupid. But for me, watching the thing, taking the ride, is the thing.
Sure.
So let's say I've been a film critic in the past. I can't complain about a movie if I haven't seen it.
Sure.
That's the deal that we're making here.
Yeah.
You're coming for my review. But if I'm just like a citizen and I'm like, I don't know if that looks good. Me giving you my $7.50 or whatever it is me taking the ride.
Yeah.
And, when you go to see the Fiji Mermaid and the box opens up and there's nothing inside and then the voice says, get out of here.
What?
That's P.T. Barnum, right?
Oh, okay.
You've taken the ride at that point.
Yeah, right.
And I've taken a lot of rides with a lot of stupid movies, most of them in the DC universe, to the point where I'm going to watch a lot of probably 4 hours of media before I see a 2-hour movie. And look, that's the deal that I make with myself.
Okay, that's fair.
So I've seen a lot of talk about the Avatar show, and it looks and sounds terrible.
Okay.
So I know people love this property, and so they're charged up both in liking it and criticizing it. But it looks really bad. And I know the M. Night movie was really bad too, but this does not look that much better.
Well, and I know, didn't the creators back out of it?
Yes.
Which is, that's your first red flag.
So, Cowboy Bebop? No.
No.
Oh, Death Note. Did you ever see the Netflix Death Note?
The Netflix Death Note? No, because it looked terrible.
Oh, well, okay. So that one we don't know. Incomplete.
Yeah.
People like the One Piece?
People really like One Piece.
And they don't like the Avatar.
No.
So what does this say? Does this say that Netflix has a hit and miss thing? Or does it say that One Piece fans are a lot more accepting? They're like, yeah, that seems about right. I'm a One Piece fan.
Maybe.
I'm on fire. That's fine.
I do know
they just don't really. They're good on a lot of things.
They probably are. I don't know. There's one anime YouTuber that I watch, and he said he really liked it, and he doesn't like everything that he did not like the Cowboy Bebop one, and so I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's pretty universally
disliked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm getting that feeling about Avatar too.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, once I watch the entire cartoon, I guess I'll be more of an authority. Kind of like the show that we're watching today.
Yes. Would you like to give us a breakdown of today's episode?
Well, don't get ahead of yourself because
fair enough.
This is a new dawn.
You're absolutely right.
It's a new day.
It's a new day.
And I feel a lot better about it than I thought I was going to.
Great.
I feel great about it.
Good.
This is like, well, it's kind of, okay. I don't know how far out of school you are, listener, or if you're in school right now. Stay in it if you are.
Yes.
But I think I remember enjoying a first day of school when I was a kid. Oh, I'm in 8th grade now. Woo, or whatever. Right? That's what happens, right?
Yeah. Not
for everybody, but
yeah.
I think that was, so that's kind of how I feel. We're going to leave all this stuff behind. We're going to forget about last year. Look, not great.
Yeah,
School burned down. Football team lost every game. We're not going to worry about that. It's a brand new year.
New pencil case.
New pencil case.
New clothes.
New opening theme.
Yes.
The Sailor Star song.
Yes.
Which maybe we'll do a lyrical breakdown later.
I do have some lyrics.
Oh, okay. Good.
To share.
I just remember that they want to, this vow reaches to the galaxy. Like Mario.
Like Mario?
Yeah, when you're out of ideas, go to space. Super Mario Galaxy, Sailor Stars.
Yeah,
Here we are.
Here we go.
But it's really upbeat, and it's a different song, which is a little, that little neurodivergent part of me is like, where's my song?
It's a little bittersweet.
So I'm still, that's a little squeaky still, those shoes, but we're still getting into those. We have a new opening sequence, of course, with a lot of different imagery going on. It first starts off, and it's almost like I feel like the show feels like this is kind of a reboot. A little
new
bit.
Deep breath. Here we go.
Yeah, new repilot, get everybody back in. Maybe we lost some viewers. I don't know why. For the last one, new team on board, running everything. And so we get a character card for each Outer Senshi showing us who these people are. Usagi's eating a hamburger.
Yes.
Ami's reading a book and eating ice cream.
How cheeky.
It's the debut of Fun Ami. Ray is shopping and she trips.
Yeah.
Clumsy Ray debut.
There was one other time she tripped and it was really bad, and that's when she was about to start dating Mamoru.
Right.
But other than that.
It is a flashback to that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then he stepped on her head.
Yes.
And we've got traditional Mako.
Yes.
Showing her versatility. And we've got cooking Minako. Did everybody switch brains?
Kind of seems like it.
Is that what's going on in this?
Yeah.
So,
except Usagi's eating.
Let's introduce everybody to these characters.
Yeah.
Incorrectly. Although they have many features and facets, I guess.
Yeah.
Then we see kind of a brief silhouette of the Outers. I think it's 3 women. Uh-huh. But maybe I gotta look closer at their hair. I don't know. We also see what looks like a tentacle plant. Uh-oh.
That's not good.
That turns into Devilman. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Sailor R's.
Oh, my God.
For rated R. Oh, my God.
Yeah, for rated R.
Oh, my
Whoa.
God. Sorry. Yes. All right, we got that cleared up. We see Tuxedo Mask, who has said, screw it. Orbit is the highest you can get, and he's floating in space. He tried to stand on top of the Mir space station. That's why it crashed.
Oh, my gosh.
We see an evilish fanged face over Tokyo. Mm-hmm. And we see a new brooch.
Yes.
I would love to meet an orthographer someday and have him try to figure out how I can say brooch and brooch in one word at the same time. But you have done that to me, people. Thank you for that.
Oh, my gosh.
You've broken my brain. And we see super winged Sailor Moon. Uh-huh. We see a red tornado vampire person. That's pretty normal. Oh, is it? It's March already. Out like a lion. And it looks like a new staff thing. Like Sailor Moon's got some kind of new weapon thing.
Yeah.
We see what looks like the silhouette of Angkor Wat.
Of what?
Angkor Wat.
What is that?
That is a Buddhist temple in Cambodia. It's very famous.
Okay.
But it becomes a night view of Tokyo.
Interesting.
We see an angelic figure, a womanly figure, and then the whole squad posing.
Of course.
And I could be wrong, and I'm sure we'll do a thing where we change things up halfway through, but There's not a lot of fat in here.
Yeah, you're right.
If you were going to add characters, you were going to like do a thing where we kind of like, oh, here's the next window in the advent calendar or whatever. There's not, I don't know where you'd put it.
Yeah.
So.
Unless you add another verse to the song.
I have 4 years of history to put behind this.
Yes.
But that's all I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll take a little getting used to.
Yeah.
Although I did find myself kind of singing that song I don't know the words yet, but singing the song to myself as I was walking around.
It slaps.
The other day.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good. I don't know if I like it more than Moon Detsetsu. So.
Yeah. Get moon lips on this one.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll have more to say about that in the future. The episode opens with the tinkle of bells as the scene resolves into a pastoral view of a Tudor-style house surrounded by cherry blossoms in bloom. Beside a cherry tree is a lawn chair and table, and beside the table is a child carrier containing a child. Maybe a year old with black hair and violet eyes, the child placidly stares up at the boughs of the cherry tree, and inside its thoughts, presumably, we see an image of Princess Serenity eclipsing the moon, hands locked in prayer, and she says, "I am that which envelops all." Nice to meet you. And white feathered wings spring from her back. She throws her hands forward, and her flowing dress becomes the uniform of Super Sailor Moon. And as a jewel-topped staff appears in her hands, she says, "And I am the soldier born from the love of all, eternal." She turns to smile at the beholder of this vision, and the baby smiles in response and reaches up from her crib. We hear a voice say, "Well, you're in a good mood today." And Professor Tomoe reaches down to pick up baby Hotaru from her carrier. As Tomoe holds her, he asks, "What kind of dream did you have? A nice one?" Hotaru looks at him with an open face, and he says, "Maybe something your daddy wouldn't understand?" A cold wind picks up suddenly, and Tomoe turns to see a green-haired woman standing behind him, who says, "Hotaru, I have come for you," as the baby, smiling, reaches out her hands to the newly arrived stranger. Back to Sailor Moon!
Yeah.
We got a Sailor Moon going on in here.
We do.
We cut to a sunny spring day in Tokyo. The cherry blossoms are in full bloom, and 9th grader Usagi Tsukino is staring directly into the midday sun like a true prodigy. She says, "Nice weather," and makes a huge stretch and a yawn. Nearby, Rei, Ami, Makoto, Minako, Luna, and Artemis are waiting for her, and Luna says, "Hurry up or we'll go without you." Usagi says, "Okay," and charges straight into her group of friends, playfully grabbing Mako and Mina by the arms. Mako asks, "Why are you so upbeat?" And Usagi replies, "Because I'm happy. I can finally wear the Juban high school uniform I've been admiring." And we see that the girls are all now wearing the long navy skirts of the high school uniform, except for Rei, of course, who is still in her TA Academy twill. Mm-hmm. Usagi says, "And being with you all is the best." Minako says, "And I finally get to go to the same school as you guys," which has never really been an issue somehow in 3.5 years. Mina says, "Minako is so happy." And Usagi grabs her hands and says, "Minako-chan." And Mina says, "You're going to take the makeup test with me, right?" And Usagi looks right down the lens and says, "Now we can get bad grades together." Because this show just cannot resist.
No, it can't.
Makoto says, "It was so hard studying for high school entrance exams. Trust us."
Yeah, I know.
You didn't see it. Not really, but it was tough. And Rei says, "But now we're free to have fun." And Luna says, Rei's school is different from you guys' school. And Usagi and Mina, because this show cannot help itself, both say, "It's an escalator school. No entrance exams." Well, convert to Catholicism then, I guess, you guys. This is the life you chose. Rei says, "But your pain is my pain too." And Ami says, "Anyway, I get a line now. And as high schoolers, we've got more time for ourselves." Is this true?
Well, so much of their time when they're in middle school is spent studying to get into high school.
And then once you're there, you just take flower arranging classes like Nanami? On Utena?
Kind of. Yeah.
Is it a lower course load, or do you go to literally less classes a day? Or are we talking about just not finishing?
No, I mean,
by 16?
No, we're finishing. It's just like the getting into college is not as difficult as getting into high school with the exams and everything.
Really?
Well, I think the hardest part is
accepted still.
Well, you still have to be accepted, yes, but you don't.
You're already accepted. Juban Community College.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, you do still have to apply and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
I guess they're talking about getting part-time jobs and stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're not going to be going to cram school.
So junior high, ding-a-ling, 4:30 p.m. I guess 5. Who knows when their school gets out?
Yeah, right.
You go right home. You're hitting the books. You study for that PSAT or whatever.
Right. Or you go to cram school and then you go home.
Yeah, right. High school, you ding-a-ling. You can do whatever. You go to the record store because you got to do a part-time job. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that makes sense. Mako says, we can get a part-time job. There you go. Mina says, I can join any club and go to idol auditions. Spin-off. And Usagi says, and when I turn 16, I can get married. Uh-oh!
I totally do not like this part. I was like, come on, Usagi.
At least try. Juban Community.
You're already accepted.
Completely unrelatedly, Mamoru arrives with Chibiusa and Diana just then, and Chibi's wearing a backpack because it's time for her to go back to the future.
Yes.
She says, today, I, the small lady Tsukino Usagi, am returning to the 30th century with Diana. And everyone's shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's shocked. But you know something?
What?
I'm shocked.
Yeah?
When we cut to a mirror-filled void and the floating form of Nihilania!
No.
No!
No, Dios, por favor, no! No! No!
No! She's like a cockroach in an evening gown!
Oh my god!
I hope the next time that they beat her, the Senshi put 2 sailor bullets in her head and throw her off Tokyo Tower.
Oh my god!
Why her?
Her? Do you not like her?
Out of all the villains that we've had, why does she get to straddle 2 seasons? It's unbelievable. Esmeralda is a bitchin' dragon playing an electric guitar on the side of a panel van in memoriam. We've still got iron deficiency Amy Lee out here floating around.
Yeah, I know.
Why?
I don't have a good answer for you. And let me tell you, when she's done in the manga, she's done. This is something that the anime decided to do.
And we know, maybe we'll talk about this, probably not today, but in the future, because I'm interested in this part. Maybe the listeners aren't. They can let us know on Spotify.
Yeah.
But we know that things are changing behind the scenes.
Yes.
But it isn't a thing where Ikuhara just pitches his, laptop into a trash can and then throws himself out the window. Like, it's just like amiable. We've got a new job. We're going to go. And so here's all the notes, next new guy for what's going to happen. So, you build a transition. This is planned. But did they think we need like an off-ramp for last year? Because we've had almost always the first 3 or 4 episodes aren't really what the show's about or the season's about.
Right.
We kind of get our memories back, or we are easing into it, or getting a new power or something like that.
Right.
But never have pulled a bad guy from the previous season before.
Yeah, that's right.
So it just feels like, I don't know, maybe it was a quick turnaround. They're like, how do we get this started? We never killed her off. She just went to a black hole.
Yeah,
So
that could have been what it is. I mean, I will say the Outer Senshi were in the manga series. They were involved. So it's kind of like we're taking that part of it and putting it in the first part of Stars.
I guess.
But like, I'm happy that the Outers are back, but I also
spoilers for the next 20 minutes of the recap. But
sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see how long she lasts. Nihilania says, "Wonderful silence. Time and light are frozen, and beauty is maintained forever in this world." Which See, this is a big part of why this character's lame.
Okay.
Time really does stop in a black hole. At least time slows down infinitely the closer that you get to a black hole. We don't know what happens inside of a black hole.
Sure.
But time as we know it doesn't exist in there.
Okay.
Which for this character is a great idea because she's trying to avoid the ravages of time.
That's true.
But we didn't even introduce the idea of a black hole until very late in the Super's game. All she did was talk about how she was imprisoned in darkness. You know, she never said anything about a black hole unless she was talking in metaphors the whole time. So there's something to say for not trying to hold everything back for some underwhelming reveal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you had made, I know this isn't like Beekman's World or something like that, but there could be a little bit of science in here, or at least like the metaphorical idea of a black hole, but also like the reality of a black hole.
Yeah, sure.
That kicks off the science part of me, but I almost feel like the new guy was like, this is a black hole, right? Okay, there's no time in here. That's what she was doing. Way too late. The water is through the dam, and you're putting the flex tape on it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Now Helenia says, this could be the world that I've been looking for. And somebody else says, oh, magnificent queen. Now Helenia's cat-like eyes open as she sees above her a curtain of light, not unlike the Northern Lights.
Aurora Borealis. At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country...
It says, it's so sad your beauty is trapped in this darkness. Now Helenia says, who are you to disturb my rest? And the voice says, all I can say is that I will grant your wishes. I can break the seal that holds you here. And all around her, cracks form in the blackness. There's a flash of light, and the queen finds herself hovering in the night sky, far above Tokyo. She unfortunately does not plummet to the ground.
No, she does not.
Like Wile E. Coyote. Down in Tokyo, in a park, stand the squad and Mamoru saying goodbye to Chibi and Diana. Artemis is taking this the worst. He's like, Diana, be careful.
I know.
Usagi says, do you have everything, Chibiusa? And she says, yep. Thanks, everybody. See you in the spinoff. And she raises her key to the sky and says, time align for me and open the gate across time and space. As her key begins to glow, she says, I call upon the power of Kronos to bring me safely through time. Ruler and guardian of time, protect me! And a shaft of pink light stabs up into the sky. Now Helenia, from her vantage point in the air, sees this. And before her, an image of Chibiusa and the Senshi appear. As the voice says, your enemies have not been vanquished. Now Helenia says, what? Impossible! I pitched that little goblin right into the stratosphere.
Oh my god.
She should be cotton candy street pizza. Did they do a Point Break somehow? And we see this happen. We see the scene from episode 166 where this happens. Now Helenia says, they can't be alive. The voice says, it's true. Thanks, voice. Now Helenia turns on the verbose curtain of light and says, what is your purpose? Why do you wake me and show me this? Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only? It's now Helenia and a Christmas Karen.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The voice says, would you rather not have known? Those who defeated you are alive and well. Now Helenia thinks about this. I wasn't successful? Not even one of my plans was fulfilled? I mean, Pegasus is locked away. If that's any consolation, you got that. The voice says, oh, pitiable queen of the new moon, with your beautiful black hair and enviable golden eyes. You're slaying, queen. Yes. You should be the true ruler of that blue planet. For sealing you into this frozen darkness, can you allow them to go free? Frozen darkness, that's the new Bob Floy flavor, I think. Some say it's in bad taste.
Oh my god.
Some say it tastes bad. The voice continues, you must despise them. Those who left you here are now living their lives with love and happiness. And this is working. Now Helenia is pissed. She says, I won't forgive them. I won't forgive them. Over and over she says this as dark power radiates from her. Seriously, isn't like Helios getting a page somewhere? I mean, he was just like, all right, problem solved. Off to Six Flags.
Oh my
But the problem is not solved.
No, it's not.
It's just like, yeah, we're two sides of the same coin, good and evil, chocolate and peanut butter. And then, like, peanut butter leaves and chocolate's still here. Chocolate rules the land of Dairy Queen now. Peanut butter is nowhere to be seen.
Oh my God.
What's up?
Yeah, what is
I
up?
will always protect dreams. Goodbye, everybody. I'm out. I gotta go lose and or gain some more weight.
Oh my God.
Now Helenia continues to pulse with energy until she screams, and out of her emerges an ebon mirror, similar to the dream mirrors her minions once stole. The voice says, "This is your spirit, formed from your thoughts of hatred and revenge. You should break the mirror and have your revenge. Wherever the shards of the mirror land, there will be great terror for all the people of the White Moon." Now Helenia grasps her mirror with both hands as a glowing suggestion of a face appears in the sky, saying, "You must break the mirror. Break it. Break it." Do it.
No, come on, do it. Seriously, do it. Come on, do it. No, come on, do it. Do it.
Trembling with rage, Queen Helenia screams and crushes the mirror in her hands, and the sparkling shards of it begin to fall on Tokyo. The voice laughs triumphantly and says, "Ha ha ha! You won't be able to escape this glass nightmare a second time!" In the park, Chibiusa steps into the shaft of light and says, "Sayonara." She's not being ironic, they speak Japanese. But looking up, she sees what seems to be a river of falling stars descending on Tokyo. The Senshi are dazzled by the sight, but Mamoru says, "That's kind of a lot of stars." And Ami says, "A little too much." As they look up, Mamoru suddenly clutches his right eye and he starts rubbing it. Usagi tries to see if there's anything in there, and he says, No, it's fine. And Usagi sees his right eye flash with a golden glow. But he says, "Let's see Chibiusa off."
Oh my God.
Let's see Chibiusa off. Chibi, however, is looking up at her time beam, which begins to flicker and fade as the wave of falling stars hits it, and it disappears. Diana says, "We're not going home?" And Chibi, looking at her, says, "The path disappeared." Mina says, "Could it be because of the shooting stars?" And Artie takes this opportunity to jump on the know-it-all train, saying, "That's probably it. It's interfering energy." I just remembered that this is a thing. The girls decide that Chibi can just try again once the stars stop, but Mamoru once again flinches and rubs at his eye. Across town, on the top floor of a tall building, couples and families are enjoying an evening in an indoor aquarium and the exotic sea life it holds. And speaking of exotic lives, Haruka and Michiru stand together in front of a tank, watching schools of fish. Haruka says, "You really like it here." And Michiru looks at her and says, "Watching this makes me feel calm. I could do it forever." Haruka says, "I feel the most calm when I'm gripping a steering wheel." And Michiru laughs and says, "I wasn't talking about the fish." Boing. The two walk outside into the rooftop garden / helipad. I don't know if you remember the last time we were here.
Yeah.
Somebody landed a helicopter out there.
That's right.
And they see the fall of stars over the city. Michiru takes out her mirror and says, "Earlier I felt dark energy coming from around the moon. Energy that was long past its sell-by date and relevance. The faint strains of evanescence." But it disappeared quickly, like evanescence.
Oh, ooh, burn.
And in her mirror, we see, this is all for now, Lania, of course.
Of course.
And in her mirror, we see a brief flash of a dark moon. Haruka says, "Earth's gravity must have caught a lot of fragments." And Michiru says, "You're being pretty optimistic." But Haruka says, "If they don't show up on your mirror, they must not be very powerful. I just believe in you." As abruptly as it began, the starfall stops, but around the pair, all across the rooftop, the other patrons begin clutching at their eyes. Haruka herself pulls back in pain as we see a streak of blood running down her hand. Mm-hmm. Michiru puts her mouth over the wound. Just hang on. It'll make sense. And spits into a handkerchief. Stick with me here. revealing a small shard of black glass.
Yes.
The glass begins to flash with light, and Haruka knocks it out of her lover's hand. The shard falls to the floor, and out of it, in an instant, grows a column of faceted glass that resolves itself into a naked, pointy-eared glass lady with a very Nehelenia-esque hairdo.
Yes.
The glass figure begins cackling as all across the rooftop, other shards also grow into glass girls until the Senshi are surrounded by an army of crystalline cretins. Nuff said. As they go back to back, Haruka says to Michiru, "Looks like the darkness in your mirror has been explained." And Michiru says, "Is this the time for jokes?" And the voice of Nehelenia fills the air, saying, "I feel it." Oh yeah, I can feel it. "The power surge of the people of the White Moon. I will kill you all. Prepare yourselves. Mortal Kombat!" Michiru says, "I feel a strong negative energy." And Haruka doesn't say, "No shit." And Nehelenia says, "Attack them, my mere palace dollies." Obsidian blades spring from the fingers of one of the glass foes, and as it leaps at Haruka and Michiru, we get a dead scream that atomizes the dolly in midair and goes on to destroy the other assembled foes. Sailor Pluto is here.
Yes.
Haruka and Michiru can't believe it. They cannot believe that their companion that they thought was dead has somehow returned.
Yes.
Which means that the movie is set after this.
It must be, even though
I guess we didn't know that.
No, I said there
or maybe it's set way before. Who knows? It's set out of the continuity of 166 to 167, but now we know that. Otherwise, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, hey, remember the Candy Palace? So we forgot to ask you, why are you alive?" All the flutes and birds. We weren't really thinking straight. We just kind of fell into a rhythm. But why? You're not dead, though? Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
No, it is a continuity error for sure.
It's not an error. It's just like, if we watch them we don't have to watch them in chronological order, but that fits somewhere else. There's an Excel spreadsheet on the internet somewhere that tells us where we should have watched that. Kind of like the Ami specials, or when we watch the Haruka and Michiru
special
hanging out in with the marionettes.
Ventriloquist dummy. Yeah.
Let's get more of that this year. It's a new year. I can't wait. We see that Pluto is holding a swaddled Hotaru. You brought a baby to a dolly fight?
Yeah, right.
Sitter canceled.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we actually wanted her for 3 weeks from now. It's a time travel thing. Messed it up. Pluto says, "There was a great distortion in the timeline," which sounds a lot like there was a great disturbance. There's a great disturbance in the force.
It does.
Haruka says, "Is that Hotaru?" And Pluto, looking dismayed, says, "I took her from Professor Tomoe for a little while." Haruka angrily says, "Why?" And Pluto says, "The time is drawing near. We will need her power then." All around the Senshi, we see the shards of glass from the seemingly defeated foes begin to replicate once again. And Pluto says, "I don't have time to explain. We got a whole season to get through here. You understand. We're going to sandbag this for a long, long time. So just keep waiting for that." Haruka and Michiru grab their transformation rods as Setsuna puts Hotaru down out of harm's way and says, "It's too early for you to fight. Wait here." And Haruka and Michiru transform into Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune. And as they do, the glass dollies rise to meet them, seemingly more numerous than before. But the Outer Senshi explode into action, shattering their crystalline foes at every strike. But each time they fall, the villains reassemble themselves and keep coming. One dolly grabs Uranus by the throat and takes them both off the edge of the building.
Yeah.
But Neptune manages to grab her comrade's hand, stopping her fall as the glass dolly plummets to the streets below. As she struggles to pull Uranus up, Neptune says, "You've been eating too many sweets lately." And Uranus says, "I don't listen to that kind of talk outside of bed."
Wow.
Is that a "that's what she said" joke?
I think it's that's what she said.
"That's what you said"
Or "that's
joke?
what you said." Yes.
We get it. They fuck. Pluto suddenly screams, "Hotaru!" And we see that a glass dolly is restraining her while another hovers over the small form of Hotaru, finger knives unsheathed. As the dolly rears back to strike, the Senshi are powerless to stop her. But Hotaru's eyes open suddenly, and a blazing light erupts from Hotaru as the dolly is blasted back and disintegrated. The symbol of Saturn appears on Hotaru's forehead, and the 3 inner Senshi find themselves in a starry void, each of them sort of half transformed, and standing serenely. Michiru says, "What is this warm energy?" And Setsuna says, "This is Saturn's power." All 3 Senshi receive glowing symbols on their foreheads as they are re-embodied as the Outer Senshi. The glass dollies shrink from the radiance, and as it fades, the Senshi say, "I don't care what you are. If you bring trouble to this planet, we won't stand and watch." The dollies renew their attack, but a world shaking, a deep submerge, and a dead scream obliterate the glassy foes, bringing the conflict to an abrupt end. The fight over, Neptune says, "A new enemy." And Uranus says, "If Saturn had to return, a crisis must be approaching." Or she turned 27. 27 months.
Oh, there you go.
Speaking of Saturn, the Senshi turn to see Hotaru, now a young girl, close to Chibi's age, standing before them. She says, "A time of revolution is approaching." Wait, what show is this? "I've given you the power to revolutionize the world." And once again, we see her vision of Super Sailor Moon standing in front of the moon, but this time, the moon is eclipsed by a dark shadow, and Sailor Moon seems to be bound up by tangling vines as streaks of red lightning cut through the sky. You don't want that.
No, that's pretty ominous.
Hotaru says, "As it stands now, the princess is in danger." Whoa!
Yeah.
First note.
Yes.
Does it feel more anime-y?
Kind of.
That's like
yeah.
anime-e. Like ukiyo-e. Anime-a.
Yeah.
Anime-a. It looks the same for the most part.
Right.
But like just the way that it's sort of put together and delivered, jumping, not like a and they're doing something at the house or something. Like it just jumps right in. It's got like these parallel storylines. We just like meet up with the girls. We're in high school. All right, we're done. Goodbye. And then you got the characters coming in. We're even spending time with the villain. There's things going on between them. It feels, we've talked in the past on the show about formula and formulaic. And this is like, we've done this for a long time. And again, I don't know if that is an effect of the newer team or if it's an effect of me being aware that there's a new team and I'm looking for differences, but it feels more anime show-y.
It does. It does.
You know, once we start to just kill people, you know, monsters of the week, maybe it'll settle back down. But it still, maybe it also kind of feels like the way the show got. I had this feeling when we got to like the last 6 episodes, the 6-parter that ended Supers, where it's just like, forget lemurs, doesn't matter. We're just going to do this, pick up from where we left off last time.
Right.
1 episode, 3 episodes cover 10 minutes of time in the real world while they're walking around.
Right.
It had that kind of feeling.
Yeah, and they, you know, like you said, we spend like part of the episode with the Senshi, and then like the last half is all the Outer Senshi. Mm-hmm. So that's very different too, and it's also kind of anime-y, and yeah, we're just hitting the ground running.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're 4 seasons in, this is the 5th season. I mean, if you don't know what this show is yet,
yeah, then good luck.
Hang on, man. I don't know what to tell you. She can come on and say that she's a, crybaby or whatever, but it kind of is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
So I guess Chibi's sticking around.
Uh-huh.
That's good.
Yeah.
I kind of felt when she's like, "I'm going home," I'm like, "No, you're not. No, you're not. Give me that key." But then I calmed down and I'm like, they're never going to let her leave the show. Are you kidding me? It's never going to happen. So we're safe.
Yeah, I was happy that Chibi didn't go home either.
Why?
Because I like having her around.
You hate Chibi.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
I've seen your dartboard.
Oh my gosh. That's not true. Watching the series again has made me love Chibiusa
Oh,
more.
now you like Chibiusa.
I do. 100% I do.
So was Pluto like driving? Why are we still doing this? Was Pluto driving Luna P?
What?
Does Luna P not have any agency without Pluto? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. Or without.
Why can't we have Luna P is what I'm asking.
I don't know why. I don't know why she's not here.
Why can't Luna P come back?
I wish Luna P could come back too.
We had evil Luna P that one time when she was Black Lady.
Yeah, that was fun. That didn't happen in the manga, but that was fun.
But that's why you make an anime. So
Yeah.
you change things.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like having a timey-wimey situation where, why is Pluto alive?
It's never explained.
Oh, well, spoilers. We've talked about negative space spoilers, right?
I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then that leaves me free to speculate, doesn't it?
Yes.
I guess you just got out. If you can stop time.
It's anime.
If you can stop time, you can get out of a helicopter crash, right?
I guess.
She used her power. She got a tank of power, right?
Yeah.
Gas tank. And it's she's been doing a lot of stuff. She's been growing plants and whatever else she was doing.
Doing
I don't know
science
what she was
experiments.
doing.
Shit.
Sneaking up on people, hiding in alleys and stuff like that. So she got 75% power, right?
Yeah.
Then we're going to fight some glass girls. She's at maybe 50%.
Yeah.
And now this helicopter is going to explode. And she's like, well, we can't die here. We got to finish our mission.
Yeah.
I'm fine with dying, just not right now.
Right.
So she stops time and uses her power to send the girls out of the helicopter.
Sure.
Which takes her to 0. But at that point, she doesn't have to stay and die in a helicopter crash. She's just sucked back to the future because that power is what keeps her in our time.
See, I like this.
When the power runs out, she just gets pulled back.
Yeah.
To the future.
I like this headcanon.
Yeah. So she's in the future.
Sure.
So she shows up and she's like, oh boy, I hope this worked. And all she has to do is like open the door to her room. Oh, they're out there. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, right.
If it didn't work, she opens the door. Wasteland. You know
then
how
you're
this
screwed.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of goo girls out there.
Yeah, right.
And a big yellow plant. Let's talk. I can't believe we're gonna do this. Let's talk about Nehelenia.
Okay. Yeah.
And how I look. It's not that I don't like her. I mean, I don't. That's not what it's about. It's not that I don't feel like we should do anything with her without Helios / the horse guy around.
Yeah.
But it's also just a repetition. She literally already made a deal with a mysterious force to get what she wants.
Yeah.
She's just a deal maker.
I guess so.
If you go up to her and you go, hey, I'll give you my apple for your bag of Cheetos. Boom, done. Bad trade. Bad trade, Nehelenia. You're going to end up with a lunchbox, full of
peanut butter sandwiches?
Skim milk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, you want a peanut butter. That's good, right?
Yeah, I suppose that's good.
Yeah, where she's getting bad things. She's getting bad trades.
Okay.
So she'll buy anything that you try to. She owns 10 Brooklyn Bridges at this point. Purple face wrinkled raisin lady's like, hey, let me give you some power, some circus people. Sure.
Yeah, right.
Then she's floating in her void. You know what? Honestly, I'm all alone here. It's quiet.
Yeah.
Wake me up. This is pretty good. Oh, what's that weird voice? You want to take me out of here and do something else? Let's do that.
Yeah.
It's just doing the exact same thing all over again.
Does she watch Let's Make a Deal and get super excited?
She's like, oh, you got to go for door number 2.
Yeah, right.
And then it's just, it's a year supply of cream corn or whatever it is.
Or dog food. You don't have a dog.
Yeah, I could get a dog. Yeah, right. Yeah. So anyway, I'm sure that'll turn out great for her. We're still talking. I can't believe we're still talking about it.
I know.
What did Zirconia get out of the deal with Nehelenia? She got to be a Quado.
Yeah, she got to be a Quado.
We're still talking about this.
She got to see Nehelenia, who she thought was beautiful.
Oh, it was just like a simping thing?
Maybe.
Oh, the eggplant simpzard.
Yes.
Well, I said that before, though, too.
I feel like you did.
But I mean, like, it's world domination. They're always going after world domination.
Of course.
Although I did like, no, lady, I can't believe we're talking about her. I did like that her motivation was just very simple. It's like, I'm hot, and I'm going to stay hot.
Yeah, right.
And I'm going to do whatever I have to.
To keep staying hot.
Everybody, you're all circus murderers now. I'm sorry. You're all going to be circus ghosts. I need to stay hot.
Yes.
And so now her new thing is revenge, even though her old thing was kind of revenge, too.
Yeah. But now she's pissed that they survived. And, like, she's like, like you said, she pitched Chibiusa.
10 minutes ago, she loved being in the black hole.
I know.
She didn't know what was going on outside. The one thing that made it all worth floating in that black hole was that she got to pitch an 8-year-old off a building.
Yeah, I know.
What a horrible person.
She is horrible. And we're talking about her still.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further.
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan?
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard. The moon and the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough Trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno has returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning Alcapop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry.
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kuro Kuro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we're going to talk about wabi-sabi.
The Red Rocker and Wango Tango, wabi-sabi. Wabi-sabi does sound like if Sammy Hagar or some washed-up rock star was going to create like his own brand of wasabi to go along with sushi. It'd be like, it's wabi-sabi.
Yeah, you're right. It does sound like that.
It's got aioli in there and sriracha.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine sriracha with wasabi?
No. Well, that's...
Sometimes you get the sriracha mayo and then you add wasabi.
Right.
So I guess it wouldn't be too far off.
Is peppers and horseradish, is that a hat on a hat?
I think so, but oh my God.
Is that a sombrero on top of a helmet with a spike on top?
Yes.
What's a German hat, I guess? A Hamburg, literally.
Wabi-sabi is a perspective centered on the acceptance of impermanence and imperfection. The aesthetic is sometimes expressed as one of recognizing beauty that is, quote, imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete, end quote, in nature.
This is like a lady with a tooth missing or something.
I mean, you could think of it like that.
Not
sure.
that there's anything wrong with it. I don't have all my teeth. So like we talk about often the contemplating of the cherry blossoms.
Yes.
The viewing.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe part of that viewing is enjoy it because
it's ephemeral.
It won't be here
in
a little bit.
And that's
and you can
definitely...
have a lot of yakisoba right now.
Right.
And then we won't do this next week.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, doing stuff like that could be considered somewhat wabi-sabi.
So the hell that the character goes to, not Homer, we all know that he'll eat all the donuts he can, where you go, oh, you like peanut butter? Here's your peanut butter. Everything's made of peanut butter. The King Midas thing. I bet the Japanese really like the King Midas story.
Probably.
Because it's like anything can be gold, but then like, oh, maybe that's not. I always thought putting the daughter in at the end is like, that's gilding the lily, literally. Maybe her name was Lily.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Isn't the whole point that he can't eat and now he's got so much gold he's destroyed the economy, but it's like, oh, his daughter is okay.
Step too far.
Yeah, I mean, if his daughter's involved, here's how you tell the fable. A guy comes in, puts a gun to his daughter's head. Is your daughter important? Yes. Fable's over. His daughter's family's more important. Right?
Yeah.
But in this idea, it's that like, oh, this is wonderful. But part of the reason that it's wonderful is that it is not eternal.
Yes, that is definitely an aspect of wabi-sabi.
Wabi-sabi, sriracha, her horseradish sauce.
And it's also that like things maybe get more beautiful or more interesting as like the longer they've been around too, and they've garnered imperfections. Wabi-sabi is a composite of two interrelated aesthetic concepts, wabi and sabi.
No, hold on, slow down. You're going a little too fast.
According to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, wabi may be translated as subdued, austere beauty, while sabi means rustic patina.
Oh, those are two perfect words.
From Wikipedia, wabi-sabi is derived from the Buddhist teaching of the three marks of existence, or sanboin, specifically impermanence, or mujo, suffering, ku, and emptiness or absence of self-nature, ku. Longer ku there.
Longer ku.
Yes.
You seen ku? No, longer ku's over there.
Ku.
Give him a nickname.
Reminds me of the Utena episode that we just watched. And Nanami thinks that she's a cow.
Yeah, Nanami. You can't just take any short O sound and make it into a cow sound.
Yeah.
That's not how that works, but they did their level best.
They did. It was pretty great. Characteristics of wabi-sabi aesthetics and principles include roughness, asymmetry, simplicity, modesty, intimacy, economy, austerity, and the appreciation of both the forces of nature and natural items. From Richard Powell, who's the author of Wabi-Sabi Simple, quote, wabi-sabi nurtures all that is authentic by acknowledging three simple realities. Nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect.
It's like a self-help kind of thing.
It is. It can be used as a... I think we talked about this a little bit. Some mental health professionals use wabi-sabi in their practice.
Huh.
Because there's this idea of resilience that goes along with wabi-sabi, because like things that are imperfect get mended and they become stronger.
Sure.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The opposite of that, it reminds me of Fight Club.
Oh, boy.
You know, the idea like where they all singing all dancing crap of the world. We're all part of the same compost heap. You know, self-improvement is masturbation.
Wow.
You know, trying to keep things together is kind of a futile thing. I mean, that's a nihilistic view.
Yeah.
Of that, but
that's still
Tyler Durden is probably a big fan of Japan.
Probably. I think so. Wabi-sabi has its origins in ancient Chinese Taoism and Zen Buddhism. It didn't start to mold Japanese culture until the Zen priest Murata Juko altered the tea ceremony. He started utilizing rough, simplistic wooden and clay utensils to replace the gold, jade, and porcelain of the Chinese-style tea service that was favored at the time.
Huh.
Around 100 years later, the tea master Senno Rikyu introduced wabi-sabi to royalty with the configuration of the tea house. Quote, he constructed a tea house with a door so low that even the emperor would have to bow in order to enter, reminding everyone of the importance of humility before tradition, mystery, and spirit.
Someday I would love to, and maybe it's not for this show, maybe it's Shore Leave or something, but really just cooked down into Japanese Buddhism, because I get the feeling that it is a very specific flavor of Buddhism as compared to mainland China or anywhere else in the East.
Yeah.
Because you tell me things like this, and they're like, oh, the Chinese are like, oh, let's do it this way. It's kind of our thing. We're into that Buddhist stuff. And the Japanese are like, hold on. I've been thinking about this for 200 years. I got this idea. It's about how the king should have to bow down when he comes through like anybody else. He's going to have a wooden spoon. It's like, what are you talking about? No, listen. Look, it's about in your mind, man. It's like Zen.
It is Zen. A lot of it is Zen Buddhism.
Literally.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Another reason why the entrance to the tea houses were so low was that samurai weren't able to get their swords through the door.
Yeah.
So they'd have to leave them outside. So nobody was in danger while they're doing the tea ceremony.
Yeah, unless there's a samurai inside, because when a guy comes through, his head's right at the right spot to just go, boop, all right, we got him.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a scene in the beginning of Seven Samurai, right?
Uh-huh.
Where he's the guy's going around trying to get his 7 samurai. He's like, I need 3 more samurai. And then he's going to go talk to this one guy who would help him out. And he goes, this guy leads him to the thing. And he's like, all right, he's right inside there. And he's like, I'm not going in there. What are you talking about? He's right in there. See that door? When I step through that door, I got to bend down. Bam, cuts my head off right then. And then right when he says that, the guy inside comes out and he's like, you passed the test. Oh, yeah, I'll work for you. You know your stuff. So he's like, he knows that little trick.
Oh my gosh.
Samurai hate this one weird trick.
That does sound like a video. We are going to take a look at 3 examples of wabi-sabi: Zen gardens, sashiko, and kintsugi.
Okay.
A Zen garden is typically fairly small, surrounded by a wall or buildings, and is typically meant to be seen while seated from a specific vantage point outside the garden, such as the porch of the hojo, the residence of the chief monk of the temple or monastery. Traditional Zen gardens were created at temples of Zen Buddhism in Kyoto during the Muromachi period. They were intended to emulate the essence of nature, not its actual aspects, and to serve as a support for meditation. The most famous of all Zen gardens in Kyoto is Ryoanji, built in the late 15th century. The garden is in a rectangle of 340 square meters. Placed within it are 15 large rocks of varying sizes, thoroughly constructed in 5 groups. 1 group of 5 rocks, 2 groups of 3, and 2 groups of 2 rocks. The rocks are surrounded by white gravel, which is painstakingly raked each day by the monks. The only vegetation in the garden is some moss around the rocks.
This is the dogs in the water thing.
The dogs in the water?
Dogs in the water, remember?
No, I don't remember this.
Look at this garden, Harry. Tell me what you see. I don't know, dogs in the water?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry. Yes.
That's for no one. And I'm not explaining it. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's it. I've been there. It's very interesting to look at.
And is it I'm trying to wrap my Western brain around this. Is it about the asymmetry?
Yeah.
And are they supposed to represent something? Because everything in Western art is supposed to represent something. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think a lot of times they're meant to be like islands.
Well, I mean, they look like islands.
Yeah, I think that's the point.
Right, because you're Western. But maybe there is no, but the point is there is no point.
Well, that could be too.
It's your mind, man.
Yeah, your mind palace.
Just imagine this guy in a robe, with the fro, the Fu Manchu mustache. Think about it, man. It's in your mind, okay? It's Zen Buddhism.
Oh my gosh. Zen gardens are wabi-sabi because they are asymmetrical, they have a roughness to them, and they intended for you to contemplate them and the imperfections within them. Japanese art historians have suggested that Zen rock garden is an attempt to emulate the monochrome ink painting into a 3-dimensional artistic medium.
Huh. And the effort is important.
Yeah, it's raked every day.
Right.
Because
you can just contemplate an unmowed backyard and be like, so beautiful. But
sure.
it's the human effort, I think, is a big part of it. Because otherwise, why not just let the rocks go wherever? And sure, there's an asymmetry, but it's kind of a planned asymmetry, or at least is a maintained asymmetry, and they rake it every day. And so if you just left it there for 10 years and came back...
It'd be different.
Well, but it wouldn't be necessarily worthy of contemplating. It's just a vacant lot.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, they're not going crazy with this kind of thing. They're like, no, we put a lot of work into this. Now think about it. Yeah. In your mind, man.
Sashiko, literally little stabs, is a type of traditional Japanese embroidery or stitching used for the decorative and or functional and reinforcement of cloth and clothing. On account of the relatively cheap essence of white cotton thread and the abundant essence of cheap indigo-dyed blue cloth in historical Japan, sashiko has a distinguishing appearance of white on blue embroidery, though some decorative pieces may also use red thread. First appearing in the Edo period, 1603 to 1867, sashiko embroidery was first applied to clothing out of a viable need and would have been utilized to strengthen and unrefined clothes. Worn-out clothes were pieced together to make new clothing by using simple running stitches. These clothes increased their strength with this long-lasting embroidery. The embroidery added a new charm to garments and also made the alterations obvious, very wabi-sabi.
So you're like, yeah, there's a patch on this, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Sashiko was often utilized to reinforce already mended clothing around points of wear, and it was also utilized to fasten patches to garments.
Didn't that kind of come back in the 90s? Because in the 70s, that was kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It was like, holy jeans weren't, because late in the 80s and 90s, it was like, oh, holy jeans, whatever. Yeah. In fact, I bought these with holes in them.
Exactly.
But you patch them, but it's like, oh, it's an orange and black or brown paisley pattern. It's oh, it's so cool. And I feel like that came back for a little while in the 90s when we were doing the 70s again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sashiko utilizes mostly geometric patterns, which fall into two main styles. Mo-yozashi, in which the patterns are created with long lines of running stitches, and hito-mezashi, where the pattern emerges from the alignment of single stitches made on a grid. Common sashiko motifs are mountains, waves, arrow feathers, bamboo, pampas grass, shippotsunagi, and interlocking geometric shapes, among others. Sashiko embroidery is traditionally applied with the use of special needles and thread, though modern-day sashiko may use modern embroidery threads and needles.
So it's kind of a home style, down-homey type thing.
Homespun.
But you can also do it with a Husqvarna.
Yes.
670 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. A single piece of clothing could be fixed many times over many generations, involving and having a notable history. This type of mending was never meant to be invisible. Rather, it's meant to highlight the tears, rips, fringes, and frays of an individual piece of clothing with stitches in a contrasting thread. Kintsugi, a special technique that utilizes gold lacquer to repair broken pottery, is considered a wabi-sabi expression. Kintsugi, or gold joinery, also known as kintsukuroi, or gold repair, is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery by mending the areas of breakage with urushi lacquer dusted with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. As a philosophy, it treats breakage and repair as part of the history of an object, not something to hide. Collectors became so infatuated with this new art that some were accused of purposely smashing valuable pottery so it could be repaired with the gold seams of kintsugi. Which is kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah, just paint fake cracks on it.
Yeah, I know.
You have an expensive vase, you've got money for the gold.
Yeah.
Just pretend that it was broken.
But they were just so enamored.
It's got to be real.
It's got to be authentic.
It's got to be authentically broken.
That's right. It is also possible that a pottery piece was chosen for imperfections it had garnered during fabrication, then deliberately broken and repaired instead of being thrown out. Wow. So like you have like a vase that maybe is a little lopsided or something like that, and instead of scrapping it completely. You just break it and then you do the kintsugi.
It's a conversation piece.
It is a conversation piece.
Is it? Is the gold paint expensive?
So I'll talk about this in a little bit, but it's actually like the lacquer kind of works like as a putty and stuff like that. You use a lacquer first and then you go over it with the gold.
Yeah, you're not like casting it, with gold. Yeah. Okay.
No.
All right.
So it's like the last layer is gold.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Kintsugi can relate to the Japanese philosophy of mushin, or no mind, which encompasses the concepts of acceptance of change, non-attachment, and fate as features of human life. Kintsugi's exact origins are unknown, but some historians date it as far back as the 15th century. As the legend goes, a Japanese shogun sent a one-of-a-kind chawan, or tea bowl, back to China for repairs. The bowl returned in one piece, but it was clumsily stuck together with unattractive metal staples. Local craftsmen, aware of the shogun's displeasure and eager to please, improvised a more appealing repair with kintsugi. And this is
when you order your Chinese bowl repair on Wish.
Yeah, right.
It's like, okay, thanks. That'll be 4 to 8 years shipping and handling. And then like, all right, send it back.
Yeah, right.
All right.
So
that'll be 3 Rio. It's like, what?
I know.
And I could have taken this down to the alley and had somebody do that.
I know. And that might be kind of a hypocritical story, but I still think it's interesting.
Or an apocryphal story.
Is that what I meant?
A hypocritical story would be where you go, yeah, I had this fixed. I don't really care about this sort of thing, but I got it. Hypocrisy.
Okay, I meant apocryphal.
Apocryphal, yeah.
Yes. Okay. This focus on reuse and repair is related to the concept of motenai, or the evasion of waste. So that's also something that's really important in Japanese culture.
Huh.
The traditional kintsugi method begins by using the lacquer to glue the ceramic pieces back together. The lacquer is also utilized as a putty to fill in any gaps or holes where the chips from the original piece might be missing. The restoration is the most challenging part because the lacquer cannot be removed once it's dry, and the pieces must be put into place all at once, no matter how many parts there are. The final step is adding the gold to the surfaces of the repairs.
How does motenai work when all their snacks are individually wrapped?
That is a great question. I've never understood that. That's always been a contradicting thing to me in my mind. Everything is individually wrapped. We don't want to waste anything.
You make one island out of garbage and you're like, there's more islands.
I know, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
But when it comes to bowls, though.
Yes.
Motenai all the way.
That's right. So that is just like a brief glimpse into wabi-sabi. And
is it the because nobody's guilty, but they're guilty of this too. They're self-consciously doing this, so it's true. You have to watch out for orientalization. You have to watch out for the making exotic of something.
Sure.
From the East. Even the East, you can hear the capital E, right?
Yeah, right.
But they're doing it too. They're like, we do this. Let me tell you about motenai and wabi-sabi.
Yes.
Horseradish sriracha sauce. Delicious. 4 to 8 years for delivery. They do that. And like, I'm sure that, and once I talk about the West, I'm really talking about America. I'm sure in America we have our own kind of thing where we're like, oh, we like this, or we don't care about this. But I don't think that we see it. Maybe we see it as being part of the American identity, but we don't see it as like a philosophy.
No, you're right.
There's a reason that we cook hot dogs and eat them because it's part of
it's American.
our Colombian destiny or something like that. So it's just like, do you think that comes from? And obviously they've been around a lot longer.
Yeah.
Than America has.
Yeah.
Does it come from their religious, and when I say religious, I mean religious and philosophical.
Of course, that's
background, Buddhism. Or does it come from their them being an offshoot of the mainland culture? Why do they have all these ideas about these specific things?
That's a really good question.
You see this in other older cultures as well. the sort of importance of and the stark uselessness of the British royal tradition.
Mm-hmm.
We're still doing it, everybody.
Yeah.
It's just us now, and it's important to us. I guess Scandinavia's got some stuff too, but like it's really important to us. Germans not being funny at all, being hostile to humor. Do you know what I mean? But it's just like they've got this. Is it the continued existence, the continuity of their culture?
I'm not 100% sure.
And the reservation of their traditions across that long time, even though rulers have changed, ideas have changed, cultures have revolutionized.
Right.
They're still like, yeah, but this is how great grandpa did it, and so I'm doing it that way.
I mean, I think there's a big, there's a lot of tradition, right, in Japan and Japanese aesthetics and that sort of thing, and passing that on. And I think that that's really important. But I also feel Japan is full of contradictions because you have your very traditional stuff on one side, and then you have your very modern stuff on the other side. Yeah. Like you were saying with like waste. We want to decrease our waste, but also here is 15 individually wrapped
we can handle
candies.
That kind of waste.
Yeah.
But where are you going to get a bowl from?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it has to come from just how ingrained Buddhism is in their culture.
Even on a secular sort of viewpoint.
Yeah, because a lot of times you ask a Japanese person what their religion is, they may not necessarily give you a satisfactory answer. Because it's Buddhism and Shintoism are so ingrained in so many different aspects of Japanese culture. They just they don't realize that what they're doing is
I'm not religious. Hold on, incense in the ancestral shrine, and
100%.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe in another 1,000 years, America will have something like that.
Maybe.
And our forefathers we turned the hot dogs like this.
So they must always be turned like
this. And the
this.
buns, toast them just for a little.
Just a little bit.
Just like they did back in the day.
Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Professor Tomoe and Hotaru have a picnic lunch packed while they're looking at the cherry trees.
I've got strained peas and strained carrots.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's not a lot of solid food for that little kid.
No, that's true. When Neptune is trying to hold on and pull Uranus up, she says that Uranus has been eating too many sweets lately.
Right.
Villain gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. So the villain we're going to rate in this episode is the minions. The
glass girls.
The glass girls. And they're called Mirror Paredri. The word paredri comes from Greek term meaning, quote, familiar spirits. In Aristotle's Constitution of Athenians, assessors were referred to as paredri.
Assessors?
Assessors.
Like, 14. That's how many. I've assessed how many. An assessor?
I'm not really sure what...
How is that a glass girl?
I don't know how it's a glass girl, to be perfectly honest.
All right. I don't... I'm going to challenge.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
All right. Whenever you've got... We get this sometimes. Whenever you've got a word that is English or not even English... but has a root in some other language, especially Greek or Latin, and then you try to put it into Japanese, half the word is just a Japanese guy having a stroke trying to say the word, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
So if it is Romanized as a Japanese guy trying to say whatever the word was originally, and Romanized as Paredri, that might then become some modern Greek version of an older word in actual Greek letters, which is assessor. But here's what I think it is.
Okay.
A parody.
A parody?
These images are reflections of Nehelenia.
That's true.
They are parodies of her.
Yes.
And the word parody comes from the Greek, which means, it means to like to sing beside something or something like that. So it's just like a copy or something like that.
Okay.
I think that's what it's supposed to be, right?
I think we might be
Maybe
right.
they're assessing something. I don't know. But I think it's like a Japanese guy trying to say parody.
I mean, that kind of sounds...
Parody.
Yeah. I think you're right about that.
Yeah. So
that makes most sense.
Put
to
that
me.
in your wiki and moon it.
There you go.
.org.
There you go. The villain design, they are blue mirror shards that turn into blue replicas of Queen Nehelenia, except they are naked.
It's another, the old specter of T2 comes back to haunt us, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Instead of like the T1000 being a smooth blob that like then turns into a man, this is like crunchy glass. Then and then turns into like a glass lady.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They should have done that with Terminator 3. Rise
Switch
of
it
the
up.
Parodies.
There you go. But they have the same hairstyle and overall appearance as Nehelenia, and there are many of them. They can extend their fingernails like claws. So we're up to our rating. There are so many of them, and they remind me of the Ice Women in the Sailor Moon S movie.
Yeah.
Very similar in a lot of ways. They are formed from the shards of Queen Nehelenia's mirror. When they are broken, they reform and crystallize all over again. They keep multiplying, which is, I think, one of the most terrifying parts about them. They're fine. I'm going to give them 3 out of 5 dark stars.
Oh, boy. All right.
Yeah.
Gonna start it off real easy.
Yeah.
Kid gloves
Yeah.
are on. We've got 33 episodes left. I'm going to go for 2.
Okay.
Here's the deal. It took a magic baby to kill them. So that's you get 1 point for existing, but of course 1 is the worst you can get. 10 to 0. No, we don't do zeros.
No, we don't.
And then also they needed a baby's help to win. So they're effective. Otherwise, we've seen this before. I get it. They're also at the beginning of a season. They've got saved some stuff. They got stuff in the tank. They're not going to waste a lot of time on this. But we probably see these guys again. I can't imagine this is the only time that we're going to see them. And this is all they do. So I don't know. If somehow I get into a situation where I have to rate them again and they do something else, maybe it'll be higher. But just this showing, not a lot going on.
I had this.
They did more damage as a piece of glass than as a lady with Wolverine claws.
You're right.
So, sorry, it's a 2.
They kind of remind me of, and I hate to bring this up, but it kind of reminds me of Harry Potter. Because he's a baby and like Voldemort tries to kill him. And then there's like a mark on his forehead. There's a mark on Saturn's forehead.
Well, it's 1998. So who wins this one?
Well,
this one might go to JK.
You think so?
When did Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets come out?
I can't remember. That's awful.
No, it's not. We should memory hole all this stuff at this point.
No, you're right.
But I believe that the Chamber of Secrets, not the movie, the book came out in 1998. So it's the same year.
Is it the same year? I think Sailor Moon ended airing in 97.
Oh, okay. Well, then this one wins.
Okay. All right.
We're on to you.
We're on to you. See you. So I have some information about the songs.
The songs?
Yeah, the opening theme and the ending theme.
Yeah, the ending theme. We didn't talk about that, but I guess we'll do it right now.
So this is the first episode that featured the Sailor Star song as the opening theme song in replacing Moonlight Densetsu. And the ending theme is also new. The Wind, the Sky, Shirley is what it's called.
Don't call me Shirley.
I know.
This sounds like a Joni Mitchell song.
It does. And it has an ellipses at the end of it, too. So, the wind, the sky, Shirley. That's how I imagine.
It's a good day for rain.
Yeah, right.
Close parenthesis. Yeah.
The lyrics for the Sailor Star song were written by Naoko Takeuchi, which I thought was interesting. She's done a fair number of the songs she's written lyrics for.
Okay.
But, so some of the lyrics from Sailor Star song are, the sadness, sailor smile, will now create a miracle, sailor wing. Everyone has a shining star. I'll never give up. For tomorrow, sailor yell. Absolutely. I'll catch it, Sailor Star. Deliver this vow throughout the galaxy.
Sailor sandwich.
Yes.
You can't just put sailor in front of everything.
That's what they're going to do.
It's a sailor yell.
Yeah, I like that one
okay.
Specifically. Some lyrics for The Wind, the Sky, Shirley are, I laughed so hard I cried. If we hold hands as we look at each other, your scent, it always ached my heart.
That's so good.
I know, right?
So, okay, all right. So this is, oh, wow, you've seeing this in the wild. This is an engrishing in the wild.
Yeah.
Because usually it's just, it means whatever it means in Japanese, and then you just translate it, and the meter never fits. You know how it is.
Yeah, right.
Never running from a real fight. We have it on our side, too.
Yeah.
But this is, it puts an ache in my heart. That's so good.
I know, right? I like that a lot, too. So, yeah, that's some information about the songs.
Okay. So, yeah. I don't know. Maybe another 15 episodes we'll check back in with the songs.
Yes.
See where we're at.
I've got some trivia for this episode. This episode was the last time Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune were shown transforming on screen. Michiru's and Haruka's lip rods are also don't appear in the anime ever again.
I thought they're called lip rods.
I don't know why. They kind of look like maybe they could be a lipstick or something like that.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
PG version.
I'm surprised that this show doesn't make the joke.
Oh my god.
Do it for me.
I know. Eternal Sailor Moon and the Eternal Tiare appear for the first time in this episode as part of Hotaru's vision.
Oh, I don't know what that is. I mean, I do now.
Okay, I've spoiled it. I'm sorry.
Still doing that, huh?
I should have thought about that.
Tough.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, I mean, look, she names herself in the vision, I guess. Now I have the context for it.
I'm sorry. Okay. The
scanning through the rest of the things.
The vision was also the last time Neo Queen Serenity appeared in the anime. So I think it was actually Neo Queen Serenity.
Neo Queen Serenity. Yeah. Future.
Yes,
Usagi.
exactly. Sailor Neptune's tiara was missing during the scene when she told Sailor Uranus that she'd eaten too many sweets.
Oh, yeah, I suppose that, yeah. So, maybe it fell off. It's a battle.
It fell off.
A pitched battle.
That's right.
Otherwise, her hair doesn't come down, over her face as she's straining to pull her up.
No, you're right.
She's got to look bedraggled.
Yeah, you're right. Now we're up to our rating. I'm happy to see that they finally passed their exams and made it to high school. Yeah. I love how Minako says to Usagi, let's take our makeup exams together. And then Usagi says, a fellow flunker. That was in my dub.
A fellow flunker?
Yeah.
A fellow flunker.
Yeah. I don't like how Usagi says that you can get married at 16. I think it's way too young. But
no, she's not wrong.
I know. I like how Artemis is so distraught about Diana leaving that he can't even face her. I like that all Queen Nehelenia's grudge and hatred has manifested itself into a dark mirror, which is her heart.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously she's not human, not technically, but actually I really don't know how that works. But and if anybody else's mirror broke, that was a real big deal. But she's like, my mirror is a weapon. So
I'm going to break it.
The rules have changed.
Apparently they have.
Or they don't apply to her.
Yeah, right. And people would almost die if their mirrors got out of them.
Yes.
So
Usagi died for the 7th time when her mirror broke.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
She's always dying.
She is. How about that? I love how the Outer Senshi are back. I'm just really excited that they're back and they got new powers. So they have the longer bows and back now, and their brooches are hearts.
Don't really see it in this episode, but yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just feeling generous and it's like the first episode in a new season. So I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 roses.
Oh, it's so generous.
Well, considering last season I didn't give out that many 4s, I feel like.
Oh. So it's an accounting thing then. Okay.
Yeah.
I am going to give it a 3.
Okay.
And here's why. And I feel like I've talked about this before, but I finally have the perfect metaphor for it. You ever go bowling? You like bowling? You ever go bowling? This will only make sense. Wait, do people bowl all over the world? Sure they do.
Yeah, they do. I bowled in Japan.
Yeah, but Japan's weird like that. They're like, oh, American bowling. Check this out.
Probably, but...
No, bowling can be for anybody. When you bowl, especially when you are bowling well, you don't always write a score in. If you have, got some of the pins down.
Yes.
Wait, this has been a long time since I bowled.
Me too.
In some of the frames, you can't do the score until you
complete your turn.
Have completed your turn, obviously.
Yeah.
But also, the score depends on what's coming up. So you can do a strike. It's been a long time since I bowled. I know in the final, there's 3 boxes in the final frame.
I know what you're
and
talking about.
You don't write anything in because you're still adding up the points, right? Because you had to find out what the next part is, and then that'll complete the score, and then you write the score in the thing.
Right.
It all makes sense when you bowl. This is what computers have done to us, because the computer just does it for you now. You need a wax pencil. That's wax pencil math. That's what we're talking about.
Gosh.
Write that down. TM. I don't know how to rate this until I know what's coming. It's fine. I like seeing everybody again. I understand that they can't give us the full high school experience yet, but I'm pretty sure that it's coming. We're just going to get the uniforms for now.
Right.
We've got the Outer Senshi back.
Yes.
And I'm excited about that. But I don't know where we're going with it. And we've got Nahelenia back.
Yeah.
And I don't know where we're going with that. And the main villain presumably won't be Nahelenia the whole time. Knock on wood. So I don't know anything about this person either. Just the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, right.
At this time of day in this area. So I can't give you any more than a 3. Now I would give nothing. I would put a slash in here.
Okay.
And we're going to see if we pick up the spare later.
I see what you're saying.
On back to the bowling metaphor.
Yeah.
But since we don't do that, and a number is required right now, I can only give it a 3.
Okay. That makes sense.
How could you, an aspiring show, get a 4 or 5 from me in a situation like this? I don't know. Promise more. Here's a great example. Ray has a vision where Tokyo explodes and everybody dies.
Yeah.
That's got my interest. I know that there's stakes being set.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we've set the stakes quite well enough, other than to say a villain who you hate is back, but probably won't be here for the entire time. And little Harry Potter Jr. Rule 34 version. Is Rule 34 porn? What's the rule?
God, I don't know.
What's the gender flip rule? Quick!
I don't know what the gender flip rule is.
No!
You're not welcome back here.
That's not necessarily enough. But I didn't hate it. And like I said, I am excited for what's coming in the future. So let's just say we'll start with a 3.
Okay.
3 out of 5.
Good. My English title is Dark Mirror Rage Machine.
Rage Machine.
Yes.
I like it. Raging with the machine.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, machine. Let's get this rage on. My title, and again, until I know where we're going, it's hard for me to decide like what shape the titles will take this week. So I'm just going to have to call it like I see it. And since our befanged bastardess is back for another couple rounds, I'm going to have to call this one The Vampire Strikes Back.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 168, Satan no Mezame, Outer Senshi Shuketsu in Japanese, and the English translation, Saturn Awakens, the 10 Sailor Guardians Unite.
Mezame. We always run into that when there's 10 Sailor Guardians. What's the language breakdown? No, you don't have to do it word by word.
I think it's awakens because it's Saturn possessive awakens.
Okay.
So I think that's what it is.
All right. Goodbye, Earth. It's going to tell us Saturn awakens and cuts Nahelenia's head off, and we're done. All right. Well, looking forward to that. And we are off on another season, the last season of Sailor Moon and the last season of Sailor Noob. So, come what may.
Yeah.
I'm ready to face it with a baby.
Me too.
Who's now a little girl.
A little girl.
Hopefully they'll stop her before she hits. Does she just get bigger? She's like 100 feet tall. They're like, no more power. Yeah, right. Nobody steps on a shrine in my town. Yeah. Hey, join us in our town. Our town in this case is called patreon.com/Sailor Noob. where we've got a whole garden, a Zen garden
There you
of
go.
earthly delights for you to come check out. And we want to welcome some new patrons this week who have joined us at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. First of all, joining us at the Inner Senshi level, rejoining us at the Inner Senshi level is Milk. Kill the fatted calf! Milk has returned. Welcome back to
Welcome
Inner
back.
Senshidom, Milk. We also have a new Princess patron this week by the name of Abigail. Abigail has joined us at the Princess Senshi level.
Welcome,
We
Abigail.
appreciate you being here as well. Inner and Princess Senshi are entitled to the panoply of options that are available at Patreon. Options like our Animenification podcast that we mentioned before, where we watch a randomly selected anime. The Duels of the Game, a Revolutionary Girl Utena podcast, where I get totally lost within the labyrinthine, beautiful mess that is the 90s anime Revolutionary Girl Utena. We also have our Beyond Good and Ava podcast, which is returning in the next week, where we talk about the Neon Genesis Evangelion. I mean, I can't think of like a more iconic and yet... Do you feel like you understand that show?
Sometimes I feel like I understand it, and then I feel like I don't.
Me too.
Yeah.
Day to day, I'm like, oh, I got it. And then I'm like, I don't know anything about this show.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. We're peeling the layers of the onion back and doing it through the view of psychology and philosophy with which it was written. And so if that sounds like fun, and I can't guarantee that it will be, that's available on our Patreon as well. And Princess patrons get access to our Sailor Cinema series, where we watch an anime, Japan, or Japan-related film every month for the show. We got a new episode of that coming out soon. All that and much more is available at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. I wanted to mention as well that if you don't want to join a club, I understand that. Groucho quote, etc., etc. And just want to give us a little tip to say, hey, you're doing a good job. You can go to Ko-fi, that's ko-fi.com/JustEnoughTrope. That is the Ko-fi page for our network, and put a little something in the tip jar just to say thank you. Recently, we received a lot of coffee from listener Ron, and we really appreciate that, Ron.
Yeah, thank you, Ron.
Thanks so much. It's people like you, Ron, that keep the show going and keep the lights on here. We really appreciate this. We do this for fun and incur some cost in doing it, but every little bit that you can contribute and help out and become a member of the show, we really do appreciate that. So thanks, Ron. Thanks, patrons. And check it out, patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Hi.